Hello everyone, my name is Dabi Nirali and I am going to present here the Oxford movement. This is my personal introduction. This is table of point which one I presenting here. What is Oxford movement? Leaders of the movement, the high church background, the religious context, the Tractarians and history, political context. What is Oxford movement? According to me, this is the art movement. Oxford movement is a start in 1833 and it is finished in 1945. Oxford of the 19th century was a fertile sources of both aesthetic and religious movements out of which the Oxford movement emerged as the one having the largest impact on all subsequent intellectual formations, be they theological or aesthetic, of the 19th century Oxford and Britain at large. And this movement based on religious life, 19th century of England. Oxford movement, 19th century movement, centered at the University Oxford that sought renewal of Catholic or Romantic Catholic, though and practice within the Church of England and opposition to the Protestant tendencies of the church. The argument was that the Anglican Church was by history and identity a truly Catholic church. Oxford movement that took the English church into a Roman Catholicism. Laws that required members of municipal corporations and government office holders to receive the Lord's Supper in the Church of England were repealed, and laws that required members of municipal corporations and government office holders to receive the Lord's Super in the Church of England were repealed, and a law was passed that removed most of the restrictions formerly imposed on Roman Catholics. What was passed that removed most of the restrictions formerly imposed on Roman Catholicism. Including that the Oxford movement was a movement that took the England Church into Roman Catholicism. Leaders of the movement. Leaders of the movement were John Henry Newman, a clergyman, subsequently a convert to Roman Catholicism, and Cardinal Richard Hallerford, a clergyman John Cable, a clergyman and poet, the Edward Percy, a clergy and a professor of Oxford. These are the four main leaders of this movement. The High Church background. The High Church tradition has its origins in Richard Hooker and Lancelot Andrews at the end of the 16th and the beginning of the 17th century was daringly exhibited by Queen Elizabeth I in her private chapel. The flourished in the prolific writings of the Caroline divines of the 17th century, those who served in the regions, and Charles I and Charles II and their successors in the 18th. Government was both the champion and the stewards of the political reforms and sought to harness the new middle classes into a frame of economic growth that had otherwise been unknown in Britain. The religious context in the run up to the 1813s was highly complex. There was a universal sense of the populace being the spiritual exile being coupled to the almost predictable sense of the ep- apocalyptic that the Napoleon's wars had created. The core concept being that belief as well as practice should not dominate the life of the church, and that was and what was required was to allow the science of the age to assist the church in an expanding view of church life and society. It is the term indifferentism that captured the life of the England church in the early 19th century. In this movement, high church was participated. Thus, the evoked in the Tractarians writers that resound and sensitive resistant to even incipient rationalism which characterized all their writing of Bacon White's positive influence. It is not too much to say that he is the real founder of the modern latitudinarian school in the English church. Watley and Hempt were in different sense his. This is quote by Liddon. John Henry Newman. Newman wrote a powerful exposition of the principle of the movement, work called the prophetic office of the church. Newman was able to turn this associated movement into some the most cherished English poems of this period. The movement's central concept denied by Newman as, as the via media, the middle path. It is that period J.H. Newman says that testifies to what that fate is, which was once delivered to the saints, the fate that will always remain in the world, and which is the treasure and the life of the church, the condition of membership of the church, and normative of its teaching. The Tractarians and history. This movement, also known as Tractarianism, Newman, Cable, and Pusey, were minds of their time, and that consequently, a method of biblical study un- unenlightened by historical critical insight was all that they could have been expected to know. This broad churchman, dean of St. Paul's Cath- Cathedral, and the renegade Tractarian and eventual agnostic Mark Pattison were also accomplished critical historian, thought no less ideological, of course, which the Tractarians did not attempt or wish to be. Which brings me to further points to which the handbook could have not done better justice. Political context, choosing national apostasy as a starting point may be historically convenient. It does provide a specific point of reference, much as the publication of lyrical ballads did not English romanticism and the shorts had round the world did for the American Revolution. It is not rhetorical accurate, however, for the sermon did not call for the audience to embrace any theological or political agenda. In fact, Cable warned his audience that public conscience illes- elastical or civil will prove ruinous indeed to those who permit them to occupy all their cares and thoughts. This is my verse citation. Thank you.
Okay, questions you will have it in comment. Okay, so reply in comment. All the questions you answer in the comment. Okay, we need to save some time. Okay, okay. So next.